Okay, this is the second quarter 2018 market report. This is for Southeast Michigan. And what we've seen for the second quarter followed much of what we saw for the first quarter of the year, although we did see a jump in activity at the beginning of the second quarter because we had some, we think really was weather-related activity at the end of the first quarter that sort of delayed some buyer activity, and just people just didn't want to get out in the snow and look at houses. So we had a nice jump in April, and business picked up, but it settled back down once that was sort of a one-month spurt. But overall, we're seeing the same trends that we have been seeing, and the inventory still is shrinking in the under 250 market, the 250, the middle markets, wherever you are geographically, you've got a starter market, a middle market, and an upper end. And in the starter markets, which is actually the majority, about 70% of all transactions in Southeast Michigan are under 250,000. So that's the majority of the market. We're still seeing inventories declining there year over year compared to last year. We're seeing sales decline there as well, as much as double-digit decline in sales there. But that's simply because we just don't have enough houses to sell. So we have demand exceeding supply. So there's where the values are rising the fastest. And in some areas getting up as close to 8 or 9% jumps year over year. The middle market, more balanced. Inventories are still declining slightly there, but not as much. Therefore, values are rising a little bit better. Or not quite as much as the upper end or the lower end, but better than the upper end. So maybe that's a 2 or 3 or 4% rise in year-over-year valuations as far as we use price per square foot for that. But overall, it's a more stable market, a little more plentiful inventory, but still tight. And then when you get to the upper end, the inventories have been rising slightly. Sales are rising as well in the upper end, interestingly enough, but they're rising because there's more activity, more sales, and more opportunities for buyers. But the market's a little thinner there, so it's likely to jump around more than the other two markets. And values there are actually flat. So one of the reasons that they're flat is because, and it's true in every market segment, but specifically it shows itself maybe a little bit more in the upper end. And that is, over the last 10 years or so, as we've been coming out of the recession, homeowners didn't invest, quite frankly, as much in their homes as they had pre-recession. So we have a gap in quality of inventory, I guess is the way of speaking. But what it really means is a number of homes that are move-in ready. The kitchens, the bathrooms are updated. There's an updated home in the last few years versus those that need updating. And what we're seeing is that gap that buyers are willing to pay for an updated home versus a home that's not updated is probably as wide as we've ever seen it. So if you have an updated home, that's where you're seeing that home appreciation and lots of multiple offers and driving activity. Now that's more prevalent in the middle to upper end. The lower end markets, because the inventory is so tight, even homes that are not updated are still getting multiple offers on occasion. And what we're seeing for Southeast Michigan is, we look at one of the things we look at is the number of homes that are selling within 10 days or less. And certainly in the under 250, we're seeing more than 50% of the homes selling in 10 days or less. Middle market, it's in the 40s. Even in the upper end, it's close to 30%. So again, what that is showing us is that those homes that are move-in ready, they're updated, they're getting lots of activity, they're getting offers within 10 days, certainly 30 days. But those that aren't, in the middle to upper end markets, are sitting on the market longer and taking a little longer to sell. So when it comes to advice for buyers and sellers, for sellers, understand where you are. Have a realistic view of where you are in the marketplace, where your home is in terms of how its placement is. Does it need some updating compared to the competition? So you know what to expect in terms of activity. Because you could have a neighbor's home that sold in 2 days, but because your home hasn't been updated, it might sell a lot slower, or the reverse might happen. So understand that, and probably if there's ever been a time when our realtors have been needed the most, it's been in this market. We thought certainly in the recession we were needed quite a bit because of understanding where the value changes are and the velocity of the market. It's just as true now. If you're a buyer, you want to craft that offer that is, particularly if you're competing with other offers, you want to have a professional that can guide you in making the best offer possible so that you'll win the bid and get that house over others. And as a seller, you had the same issues, and often you have multiple offers to sort through. You almost need a spreadsheet to figure out what's going on. And often it isn't the cash sale or it isn't the highest price that is the best offer to take. It's subtle in the terms and conditions, and cash doesn't always mean cash. Realtors understand that. So use the advice of realtors. Understand, if you're selling your home or buying, understand where you are in the marketplace and therefore what type of offer you need to make, whether you're likely to compete against others or maybe you might be the only offer. And also keep in mind that if the move-in ready homes are selling for a premium, those that are dated on the buyer side of things are probably selling for a discount. So there's opportunity in the marketplace to still find some good deals. You just have to look a little bit harder, but also look at the obvious. Those homes have been in the market for a while. Overall, the market is good, strong. We anticipate the rest of the year to continue to be a strong market. Maybe demand cools a little bit. We have had this recovery for a long time. So, but you probably won't notice that much in the marketplace. You might notice it in terms of, in some of the hot markets, we used to get 4 offers for a hot property. Now we're only getting 3. So it's subtle. It's probably there a little bit, but still we expect some good activity for the rest of the year. That's it.